Lo. By Charles Hoyfort, Part 2, Chapter 20L. Foucault's experiment, or the supposed demonstration with the pendulum, is supposed to show that this earth rotates daily. If a pendulum does, at least for a while, swing somewhat nearly in a constant line, though changing relatively to environment, and if we think that neither religiously, nor accidentally, has it received some helpful little pushes, we accept that here there may be indication of an annual, and not daily, rotation of this earth. That would account for the annual shift, and not the daily shift, of the stars. I don't know that I accept this, but I have no opposing prejudice. When I write of this earth as almost stationary, as I have to regard it, if I think of it as surrounded by a starry shell that is not vastly far away, I mean that relatively to the tremendous velocities of conventionality. But this alleged experiment has never been more than part of an experiment. I quote from one of the latest textbooks, Astronomy, by Professor John Charles Duncan, published in 1926. We are told that a pendulum, if undisturbed, swings for several hours, in very nearly the same plane. Farther along we read that, in the latitude of Paris, where Foucault made his experiment, the time for the complete demonstration is 32 hours. Professor Duncan makes no comment, but it is the reader's own fault if he reads in these statements that the swing of a pendulum, through more than part of the experiment, and in more than very nearly the same plane, ever has demonstrated the daily rotation of this earth. In the textbooks, which are pretty good reading for contrary persons like ourselves, it is said that the circumstance that this earth is approximately an oblate spheroid indicates the rapid rotation of this earth. But our negative principle is that nothing exclusively indicates anything. It does not matter what an astronomer or anybody else says to support any statement, the support must be a myth. Even if we could accept that the astronomers are right, I could not accept that they can demonstrate that they are right. So we hunt around for opposing data, knowing that they must be findable somewhere. We come to the shape of the sun. The sun rotates rapidly, but the sun is not an oblate spheroid. If there be any departure from sphericity, the sun is a prolate spheroid. Or we argue that oblateness may be an indication that in early, formative times this earth rotated rapidly, but that now this earth could be oblate and almost stationary. It may be another instance of my many credulities, but here I am accepting that this roundish, or perhaps pear-shaped, earth is flattened at the poles, as it is said to be. Astronomers cite relative numerousness of meteors as indication of this Earth's motion in an orbit. Professor Duncan, Astronomy, page 262, says that meteors seen after midnight are about twice as numerous as are those that are seen before midnight. This is because, in the latter half of the night, we are riding on the front side of the Earth, as it moves along its orbit and receive meteors from all directions, whereas in the earlier half we see none of those which the Earth meets head-on. There is no use comparing little sparks of meteors, seen at different times of night, because of course soon after midnight more of these little things are likely to be seen than earlier in the evening, in lingering twilight. Here, Professor Duncan's statement is that when meteors can be seen morely, more meteors can be seen. That is wisdom that we shall not defile.